Welcome to another edition of Conscious Connections, where we explore soul centered conversations that awaken truth, inspire healing, and remind us of our divine power. I am your host, Dr. Deborah Carson, the founder of the Fear to Freedom Project. And I love to sit down with beautiful souls who are transforming lives through their gifts, their stories, and their wisdom. Together, we move beyond fear right into freedom, one conscious conversation at a time. What if divine light and love are not abstract ideas, but living energies you can feel and embody, inviting you to release what no longer serves you by trusting higher dimensional support and stepping into a more powerful state of being? Well, today's guest is Vinolan, which he invites us into a transformational space beyond the seen and the familiar. He is a light language facilitator, a Reiki and emotional freedom technique practitioner who holds sacred space with higher dimensional frequencies, spirit guides, and spiritual beings such as dragons, crows, lyrans, and Arcturians, supporting deep release and helping others step into more powerful states of being through divine light and love. Welcome to the Fear to Freedom Project, Ben. I'm so happy to have you here. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you, Deborah, and happy New Year to you and your listeners. I hope you had a wonderful one.
Yes, I had a great New Year. It's very special. I am so excited about what's to come for this new year, not just for me, but for the planet. And I'm gonna dig right in because I don't think I have friends. We have a mutual friend. That's how you got here. My lovely sister Rachel, or is it Lily Lee? One of the two, because they are both light language practitioners. Yeah.
I actually know both of them, but
Ye-
our introduction was through Lily. Yeah.
Lily Lee, yes, yes. And so I don't know anyone that works with dragons and Arcturians and crows and things like that. So can you tell me and tell the listeners, how did that come about, working with such high dimensional, I don't even look at a dragon. I did not, of course, look at a dragon or a crow as a higher dimensional being. So I'm very interested to hear what you have to say about that.
Well, for that story, let me just start at the beginning where I would consider the spiritual awakening of sorts from how it affected me. So I've always been interested in mystical stuff and energy work ever since I was a little kid. And because of that interest, it's always just drove me into specific directions. And that was working with energy, meditation, yoga, those kind of things. So fast forward into the early, say, 2000s, maybe 2002, I got initiated into the Usui Tibetan style of Reiki. And the reason for that was to bring in more light because at that point I was in a quite of a dark place. And my energy field, it wasn't really the best. I mean, nobody really teaches you about energy hygiene, that kind of things. I could walk into a room and just give people headaches simply by being there. So I decided to do something about it. And the choice that I took was to get initiated into Reiki so that I can get a clearer channel of energy that's coming through. So that at least if I'm around people, there'll be some positive vibes, being shared with
Mhm.
them. So that really helped me. And I've since developed my own style of Reiki as well, which I use dragon energy as well as source energy in that. I think around 2020, that's when the light language started coming online. And then that's when we started working with the other frequencies, like, for example, with the Arcturians, with the Lyrans. So during that time, I think there was quite a lot of other people that were actually kind of coming online. Lily was one of them. There's quite a few other people that we do know as well. But that seemed to be the kind of a pivot awakening point for a lot of people. And myself, having been exposed to light language even before that, at that point in time, it wasn't time for it to come online. I just thought that the people that were speaking it were crazy and they were just speaking a whole lot of gibberish. because that's what it sounded like to me at that point. And for 5 years, I literally avoided it whenever I saw anything light language related, totally discarded it. And I just started getting pushed and pushed more and more. There's like an inner pushing towards these kinds of modalities. So I went onto YouTube, I went onto TikTok, I started actually listening to it. And before I knew it, I started speaking light language as well. There was a woman who, I think this was about 3 years. She gave me a session and then she was speaking light language as well. And she had a bit of a dragon dialect. And after that, my light language started coming online and I started speaking it. No idea what I was saying, but there was just a channel kind of clearing. And then it was on my birthday. I think it was, yeah, 3 years ago when I went for a calibration. And that's when like my full-on dragon dialect came on and it really doesn't sound like me at all. But through my meditation, through experiencing different kinds of energies, especially when your dialect changes, you
Mhm.
identify which kind of beings is actually coming through based on the dialect and the energy. Because there can be someone who's totally on the other side of the world. You've never met them, they've never met you, yet the languages and the dialects that you're speaking sounds almost the same. And that is how I was able to identify, okay, fine, this is what this being is. This is Nocturian or this is a Lyran. The crows, they don't have a language as such. They're more like spiritual guides that help me with the ancestral clearing and stuff. But yeah, it's what can I say? It's been fun.
So it's interesting that you said when you came around people, like you gave them headaches. That just speaks to like our energy and how whenever you're around someone, they can make you sick. They can, impact you and you can feel that. And that's what's so important to me now because of course I had a spiritual awakening too. So I was not, you know, conditioned to pay attention to my energy. It was always, in a from a Christian aspect. And so now the more that I know myself and pay attention to myself and understand my own energy and the energy that's flowing all around us all the time. How can you how can you help people or show people or what can you tell people to tap into their energy, to pay more attention to that it is real? What would you say? Because some people that we don't know that. Everybody doesn't even pay attention to anything like that. They can feel it like, oh, this person, I feel a certain way, but sometimes we internalize that. And also, it can be projected into anger or you don't understand. So, how can we just kind of anchor into ourselves and our own energy?
Well, let's look at it in this way. You got to stop looking at yourself as just a physical being. Okay. And I know a lot of people say, okay, fine, but we're spiritual beings as well. But like, where's the spirit? And the spirit is everywhere. So if you want to really get down to it, think of yourself more as maybe an electromagnetic being with an electromagnetic field, although it goes much deeper than that. But human beings and plants and animals, we all have something called a biofield. Right? It's a field of energy. And as we go throughout our lives, we will find that we can either attract certain types of energies because of that biofield, we can project energy because of that biofield, and we can accumulate a whole lot of energy because of that biofield. And simply by talking to someone, simply by going into a shopping mall or any public place or even your family, you pick up energy. And over time it can build up. And that is why with it's not just the brain aspect of it, but sometimes you might find yourself picking on certain habits and aspects of the people that you regularly hang around with. Okay. So it's not just social conditioning, but it can also be the thought forms that you have attracted from them that is now also kind of growing within you. And it could influence your mind, it could influence your energy. There's a whole lot of things that it could do.
Mm,
But the easiest way to feel the effect of energy, because what I'd like to tell people is that we get quite comfortable with being uncomfortable because your brain deletes information as we go along. We get so used to being in pain, we get so used to being in discomfort, so it just becomes a part of your life. But through an energy clearing, all right, so when we clear the auric field or the biofield, when you remove the distortions that's in there, when you remove the thought forms that may be attached to your body, you will feel a release. You will feel a relief. And that is one of the simplest ways for you to experience the shift in energy or to explain what energy can and does do to you.
I agree because Lily Lee did an energy clearing right here on the show. And that was very special. I was very vulnerable and, I allowed people to see that. But after that, I can tell you that I felt very light and very much empowered and unencumbered. And I was able to make some decisions that I thought I was kind of holding back on because of fear, because of not knowing. And after that clearing, it was like, boom, I was clear. I was able to make the decisions. And yeah, life has progressed and changed since that time. So, and I'm very open though. I'm open. I'm all in. I had the spiritual awakening. I've been through, like I guess what they call a dark night of the soul. So I'm open. I'm on my path and my guides are guiding me and I'm listening. So what do you how do you like how would you explain your purpose of all of this? How would you explain that? Like, what is the purpose? Why do we need to light language? Why do we need Reiki? Why do we even need EFT clearing?
Well, once again, going back to how I was brought up. Okay, so from a very young age, I was part of an organization called the Sati Sai organization. And the purpose of the organization is to turn your mind towards the divinity within, to see, feel, and experience the divinity within yourself and everyone else. So as such, you start to ask your question, what am I? Who am I? Who's everyone else? And the very fundamental who we are is unconditional light and love, because we all are coming from source. However, we are aspects of source that is here to have this human experience. And if you were to look around at what's going on, I mean, there's good, there's bad, but there's also you who has a choice about how to show up in the moment. What do you want to share with everyone else? And for myself personally, what I want to do is I want to bring in as much as unconditional love and light as I can here in the physical. And the way I do it, and the way I would advise or just hint for other people to do it as well, because everyone has their own ways. But anchor and ground is the very basics to where you should start with anything. It is basics, and the reason you anchor and ground is to create that circuitry that enables you to have a good facilitation of this energy that's coming from above and below. Essentially, you become the bridge to heaven and earth.
Mm.
And if you want to create heaven and earth, then you become the bridge to heaven and earth so that you can then share that light, radiate it, not neglecting yourself, because you've got to fill up yourself with that love and light. And then from there, you radiate it out into everyone else, into everything that you can look at, to everything that you can see physically, everything that you can imagine. And I think that's why we're here. I think that's why we're here to show everyone that we're not what people portray on, on television or all of the other stuff, that we are just human flesh bodies. We're much more than that. We're extensions of the divine creator, extensions of the divine source. We are the divine creator. We are divine source.
You
I
know
think
what?
that's where we should be going.
Yeah, it's a couple things you said that are really, really important here. And that is feeling the divinity within yourself, but also the divinity within others. That connects us to each other because we have been taught, in my opinion and in my experience, to isolate, right? You are an island, you are alone, this is your life, everyone for themselves, every man for themselves, survival of the fittest, and it actually separates us. So, what you said is very, very important. I love that because I am you. You are me. I am a reflection of you. And I believe that if we can move from that perspective, that point of view, that we would treat each other differently because you are kind. When I'm not kind to you, I'm not kind to myself. And so part of this whole like be kind to yourself, love yourself. Self love means also self love, like you self love, showing it to you. Would you agree? That Does
Yeah,
that make sense?
I totally would agree with you. In fact, there's an interesting experiment that you can try. So for those of us that are familiar with muscle testing, muscle testing will kind of test if you weak or strong to certain things. All right. So one of the ways is you would stick your arm out and someone else will ask you something and push down on your hand. And if you're strong for it, you will show some resistance. And if you weak to it, your hand will kind of collapse down all the way to the side. Uh, if you were to, for example, let me just get the phrasing part right. So if you were to imagine someone in front of you, you make someone, it's not a real person, you can give them a fake name, but in your mind or out loud, you're going to insult that imaginary person. You're going to insult them, okay? And you do a muscle testing for yourself, you will find that you are going a lot weaker, okay?
You
And
say you're
if you
going
were
to
to
be a lot
praise,
weaker. I will be a
yeah,
lot weaker.
yeah, you would be a lot weaker. All right. And if you were to praise this person, you will tell them how much you love them, how much you appreciate that. You will find that you're a lot stronger. Okay. So there's two important points here. Number one is the brain doesn't recognize what's real and what's imagined. It's exactly the same to them. Okay. And number two is it doesn't differentiate between you and someone else. If you were to be kind to someone else, being kind to yourself, if you were to be angry towards someone else, you are reflecting that anger towards yourself as well. Your energetic structure is being affected. And coming back to your previous question about why someone would need light language, why someone would need Reiki, that will depend on your soul contract. That will depend on what you are aligned to do, what lessons you want to learn, what gifts you want to share. So Reiki wouldn't be for everyone. Light language wouldn't be for everyone. But the most important thing for you is to show up authentically for yourself so that you can be authentic to everyone else. And then that's where it kind of starts. These
So,
these modalities, these modalities are just a way for you to access different portions of yourself, different portions of source, so that you can find what resonates because we still have free choice. We still have free will.
so that's beautiful. The other thing that you talked about was anchoring in and grounding yourself. So, how would you show someone that's just they're not near a practitioner, but you could just give them some easy 1, 2, 3 steps of how to ground yourself, how to anchor in.
So for anchoring and grounding, there's many different ways of doing it, but the fundamentals are very, very important. And for me, the fundamentals is your visualization because you're giving your brain and subconscious mind the kind of neural pathways, okay? So that the energy knows what it wants to do. And then the other thing that's very, very important is your intent. Okay, your intent is your ability to choose, it's your ability to direct energy, it's your ability to direct your awareness and your attention, and it's your ability to direct cosmic forces that is all around us, that is a part of us, that is extensions of us. All right. So if you want to anchor and ground, first of all, I would set the intention to only connect the highest and the purest, and only the beings of the highest vibrational level of light. Okay. So for the visualization, I like to start at my heart space. I like to open up my heart chakra, feel the love there. And from the heart space, I'll send a beam of light all the way up to source. Now, once again, I'm setting the intention for that to happen. I will imagine it. I will know it. I will trust that this beam of light from my heart space is going all the way up to source. It anchors, it connects. So the way I was taught was that you would go all the way into a golden ball. You'll find that there's a hook there. The energy from yourself, you would hook it up in there. You would tie it to that hook, and then you'll bring the energy down, all the way back down, clearing your energy centers, clearing your chakras, going out to your legs. Okay. And then you're going to send that energy cord all the way to the center of Mother Earth. I would visualize it as a rose gold sphere with another hook in there. You can send your cord, tie it up to Mother Earth, anchor and ground there, and bring that energy, that love, all the way back up, combining in my heart space, and then you expand it out into all that is. So that is a simple way of doing it. It doesn't have to take a long time, but when you do it intentionally, when you do it with purpose, when you do it with presence, that builds up not just the neural pathways in your brain, but it builds up your energy field around. It builds up that energy body around you so that you can then start to handle higher vibrational frequencies so that you don't short circuit, because the risk of playing with these energies is very, very real. There's a lot of people that do not feel grounded. They feel kind of disorientated because of the energy. And it all has to do with how they are maintaining the energy body as well as the kind of blockages they have inside the energy body. But when you bring the energy inside, you're pushing out things that doesn't serve your highest good. You set the intention to clear anything that doesn't serve your highest good. And it's as simple as that. As I mentioned, there's no one way for everyone else to do it. You can Google, there's tons of examples. Now you would anchor and ground. You can anchor and ground outside, connecting barefoot to Mother Earth. There's so many different ways, as I mentioned. But I like to visualize it in this specific way because I found that it works for me.
Yeah, I felt it. I totally felt it when you were I just love it. I do. And I am so open to my journey and my path now that there is nothing that could possibly stop me. Not anything. And I love that for myself because I grew up with a lot of fear and that carried over into my adult life. And so I am the Fear to Freedom Project. It is me. I feel so much ease in my life now and freedom. Like Lily would say, freedom. I feel that because I am not allowing fear to stagnate me, to overcome me, to lead me. And when I do feel it, I go on anyway because I now investigate it. I'm like, what are you here for? Let me give you some love. Yeah. So I want to ask you about your fears. Like, how did you overcome the fears? Did you face any fears? Because, okay, so wait, let me start. Did you grow up this way? Were you conditioned this way by your parents, or were you conditioned like as a Christian or in religious with religious information?
Well, conditioning is a nice way to put it, but at the same time, sometimes you find yourself in the situations when you're growing up. So I wouldn't say it's conditioning as such. It could be more of a remembrance. Okay, so it's a more of the way to remember things. So yes, it was conditioning. It was all towards remembering. But from a very young age, my father told myself and my brothers, "You're not the body. You're the soul. You are the spirit." So that is the biggest lesson that I took away from my dad. All right.
Okay, hold on. So that's good for you. That was your dad giving you remembrance.
Mm-hmm.
I was conditioned. When I look at Christianity as a conditioning, because I had to unlearn those things. So good for you. Even though my mom was like, she sought different, knowledge. She read a lot of books and she told me about the book of life. She took me to my first past life experience, meditation. So I was
Mm-hmm.
getting some things in there, but I was also going to church and conditioned to believe this. So it wasn't cultivated. So good for you. Your dad told you that right away.
Well, I suppose part of my life purpose at that point in time was to be perhaps unconditioned or to remember at a much earlier stage. I was also born pretty much quite early as well. I was born premature. Everyone thought I was going to die. I had other ideas, obviously, because I'm still here. And so, yes, with you, it was a conditioning, right? But your awakening came anyways. Your remembrance came anyways. So whatever you have to do, whatever you have to go through, you've been through it so that you can get through your remembrance. And it was the same with me. In just different times. different scheduling, if you can say that. In the
Sure.
very same way that most of us had the other abilities coming online at 2020, 2019, around there. It was the same with you. So you've unwound everything. You've opened up yourself. You've opened up your mind to embrace new aspects, new energies of yourself. So I think you've done a fine job.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm just excited about everything. I totally feel like a kid at Christmas. It's like all of these new things are coming about. Starting to remember more, as you would say, and I just feel so, so excited about everything. Everything. It's like, my gosh, like, and I'm so grateful. The other day, I could feel every cell in my body, like it's like it was rejoicing with gratitude. I could feel everything, like, it's almost like the cells had arms and I could see them and feel them saying like that, and it was so overwhelming, I had to hold on, but I am so grateful that life is not the way that I thought it was, the way that I was almost taught it was. I'm so grateful that it's something different. I really don't know what to do with myself, I have to be honest, so yeah, every day I get up and I'm just like, it's just this gratitude that feels so overwhelming. Sometimes I have to stop myself because I feel so overwhelmed with gratitude and thanks. Like I thought it was something else, and now I feel so much freedom. So I want to ask you in terms of like your social life, whenever you started to like do your work, do you have any friends that say, God, dude, what's going on? Like, this is not, you're crazy or, anything like that?
Well, my closest friends that I do have are the ones that I've had for many, many years, maybe 15, 20. I even still have a friend that I met him when I was 5 years old, and we still keep in contact. So with myself, I've always been the weird kid. I've always, you know, uh, been interested in psychic stuff and those kind of things. The people know me. I mean, my social life, those that are in my social structure, people know that this is what I do. I've got a website. It's even on my WhatsApp. So it's a normal thing. It's just like, okay, people know that this guy is into this stuff. If it's weird, not worry. But at the same time, I can still interact with them without being totally weird. And I still
Yeah,
have a normal job. Yeah, so it's
good. So
yeah.
what fears did you have to overcome to lean into your true self?
The biggest fears that I had was the fear of being seen. I had to get over the fear of being chased by other entities and other beings. I remember there was a long time when I used to have a lot of nightmares with other beings and demons and stuff, chasing me. But then there was a certain point, I would say that was quite pivotal when I was around the age of 14. If I don't know if you've experienced it, but maybe some of your listeners have experienced sleep paralysis, where you're lying on your back and you feel that there's something coming and sitting on your chest and choking the life out, and you can't scream because when you try to, there's no sound that comes out. So I had this visitor that came, towards me quite often. And then at a point I said, stuff this, I'm gonna fight back. Okay. So I waited for this being. I could feel my body falling asleep. I waited for this thing to come. And as soon as it came on, I turned my auric field into spikes. I just did it with will and intent. And I stabbed this creature. And it never came again after that. I think I could
Yes.
feel that surprise. Okay. Didn't come again after that. And I think the other fear is, whether I am doing enough or whether I can actually assist and help people. And that's always been a fear for me. Because, well, what if I'm doing something that doesn't really help them? What if they judge me? So I think one of the other fears as well is the fear of being judged, you know? Uh, but the older I got, I figured out that the harshest critic and the harshest judge is actually yourself.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So once I got over that, I mean, I'll do stuff anyways. I'll speak light language on TikTok, on Facebook, or whatever. Do it in public sometimes, and people look at me weird. I just smile and say, "Yeah, cool, whatever."
Yeah. Good, good. You're in your space. That's beautiful. What I want to ask you is, so if the higher dimensional beings and all of these encoded frequencies are here to assist humanity right now, like what do you feel we are being like initiated into? Like what must we be willing to release in order to receive the support that is coming through these encoded frequencies and these higher dimensional beings?
Mm. In my mind and in my heart, the beings are here for support. They are not the end of the story. They're only the beginning. And once again, it's here to support you. And
Mm,
you're a person that has free will. And at the same time, there's a lot of challenges that we have here on the physical plane. So it's not just people being mean to each other. It's a frequency-based reality. And the reason I can access some of these different beings and some of these different energies is because I kind of learn how to adjust my frequencies. And the only way you're going to do that is if you start to anchor your ground. Because at the very core of everything is your sovereignty, your choice of sovereignty, and your exercise of that sovereignty. The way you would want to do that is, once again, anchoring grounded. Why? Because you want to push out the external interferences. And we're going to do an exercise in a bit, right? So you will find out and feel exactly how these external influences are affecting you. So let's look at the way we're communicating now. We're communicating over the internet. So there is energy fields, there's different frequencies that's flowing through us, it's flowing through everything all around us. It's a microwave radiation. It's from your cell phone towers. It's your Wi-Fi. It's in the lights that we're using with these LEDs and the fluorescent light bulbs. Okay, there's a lot of different types of frequencies that are affecting us right here, right now, and compound with other people's thoughts would pick up because your brain and nervous system, I mean, it's like a modem itself. It can send information, receive information. A lot of the times you're dealing with things that's not actually yours. So how do you get to yourself? How do you get to who you are? Anchoring grounding is, I think, the number one, okay? Because you then start to push out the external influences so that you can actually sit with who you are, so that you can actually start dealing with your own issues, not everyone else's, but your own. And when you start doing that processes, when you start going through what people call shadow work, then that's how you start to release these fake beliefs, real beliefs, doesn't matter. What matters is you start to do the work so that you can then start allowing the higher dimensional energies to come through. And when I say higher dimensional, I don't mean it as a hierarchy. I mean it as an actual higher frequency. And that includes the energy and the consciousness of your own spirit.
beautiful. Thank you for that. So I want to do before we start to wrap it up, I would like to do whatever activity you have for for me, for us, whoever's listening.
Yeah.
Do you have
So
anything or
for
you
you,
what it yeah,
yeah, look, there's something that I love doing, and I love doing is EMS clearing or electromagnetic fields clearing because we're always under the influence of other types of energies. So it's a quick anchoring, grounding, and I will bring in some light language, although it's not always needed. But light language, I do like it because it makes very, very quickly manifesting the spiritual into the physical. And that's one of the reasons I really like to use it. So light language comes in transmissions and as codes. What we're going to do here rather is using it to amplify the intention that is to clear your body of these frequencies and the effects of the frequencies and to set up a certain shield. So the shield around you that I'm going to create is it's called a dragon egg. It was channeled by my oversoul. So it's going to be reinforced with dragon fire. And you can tell me after I've done it just how you feel, you and your listeners. Let's get on to it. Inviting you to close your eyes for a bit and take a deep breath in and exhale. And I'm now going to set the intention to connect you and your listeners to source above. Okay, bring the energies all the way up from above and through the top of your head, going down, pulling up your shoulders, down your arms, pulling up your brain, your chest, your torso. sending it all the way down back to Mother Earth, connecting you from Gaia below, bringing the energy up through your feet, up through your legs, your spine, filling up your body, your arms, your head, and sending the energy all the way back up. Combining the energies from above and below within your heart space and expanding that energy out, filling up your entire body, filling up your auric field, filling up the space around you, expanding that out, past the room that you're in, into all that is. And we're just going to bring in the energies of unconditional love into your heart, into every cell of your body. We're going to set the intention to not clear EMF radiation that is in your body, clear EMF radiation that is around your body, and to clear the effects of that. So take a deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. As we bring in the codes for this, take a deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. As we now activate a dragon egg around you, reinforced with dragon fire to reflect all which is absent of love, all that does not serve your highest good, all which is not yours to be burdened with, yet only allowing those frequencies that is for your highest good to come through. Sikar kakak ur untrua hila shakar ur elah shahar ukur si simharak akar uturwansat elak akar urwa shilar eak ur unturwa la simbaka imak urwa hlishkina. And within the sacred bubble, we're just amplifying the unconditional love that is here, putting you as much light as we can, raising your energy levels, raising your vibration, raising your frequency. Simalala karo utorwa ilishkimalaka ilakaraka utorwa sila shikim. Imakaraka kakurul shuhutorwa la sakar. Elahuru torwan sandaril. Your own inner love to expand throughout you as well. Simarkahat kalak. Take a deep breath in, exhale through the mouth, and gently bring yourself back to this plane, back to this dimension, back to the physical, back to your body. And so it is.
And so it is. Oh, my ears, I can hear the frequencies. They were popping in my beats that that hasn't happened, but they were just like, yeah, I can feel all
So,
of that
hey,
energy.
yeah,
Let me
so
just
I want
ground
you to pay
myself.
attention to your body. Ground, we are assisting with that. So I'm asking my green guide to come through and assist you and everyone else here just to uh, help you to ground even more, strengthening and widening the connection from your feet to Mother Gaia, and just shoop, straight down. That should help a bit. But pay attention to your body. Pay attention to how much lighter you. Pay attention to how much lighter the air around you feels as well.
I
And I
will.
want you to think about how you felt before, and notice that your body is always under constant assault of all of these different types of frequencies. And this is why you'd want to anchor and ground and set your space so that you can feel and experience more of who you are in order to bring your divine mission here into the physical at this point in time. Push away the distractions, allow more of yourself in here so that you can shine the light that you are.
Yes. Yes. Feel like I just feel tingly all the way. It's like all full vibration is going on right now. Like it's just, yeah, like I'm plugged in. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate you for coming to the Fear to Freedom Project and just sharing your whole self with me and the audience. Thank you so much. I really love you for that. As the listeners, as you sit with this conversation, as you heard Ben say, there's one simple way that you can embody more light, more divine light, more love into your daily lives without any fear, without any force, and without really fully understanding how all of it works. Anchor in and ground yourself. And I just really believe that. I like to ask all of my guests certain questions before they leave. What are you most excited about in life right now? You. I'm asking you.
Me or the guest? I wasn't sure.
No, no. Yeah, you are my guest. You are you're the second
I'm
one that
sorry,
said
I
that.
thought you had some other guests, so I was a bit confused. Sorry, that was
No,
my
no, I
bad.
like to ask all of my guests, like, what are you most excited about in life right now?
I am most excited about being alive in this point in time because I believe that it has taken many, many lifetimes to come here at this point in time to learn the things that I've learned, to meet the people that I've met. And it's all about choice and it's all about perspective. And when you realize that you have that freedom within your mind to choose how exciting life can get, and that's exactly what is going to reflect back towards you. Because once again, as you mentioned, we're not an island. I'm you, you are me, we are everything and everyone at the same time, just having different experiences. But the experience that we want to bring through is only going to come through if we choose the highest vibrational level in life to come through. It's only going to come through if we choose the highest expression of ourselves to come through so that it can be shared with everyone else. So that's what I'm most excited about, just about being alive, aren't you?
Yeah, that's good. That's beautiful. The gift of life. So the next question is, what does moving from fear to freedom mean to you?
Moving from fear to freedom means that you move away from the illusion and more towards reality. The reality is yourself. The reality is that you are divine. The reality is that you are unlimited. The reality is that you are love. So that's what fear to freedom means to me.
Yes, that's so beautiful. Thank you for that. Oh my goodness. How can people work with you? I see you on TikTok, and I know you are on Facebook, and all of your information, if you just send it to me, your TikTok and everything. Well, actually, I have that. And I will put your website in the show notes for everyone. But just, if you can tell people, where they can meet you.
Yeah, well, they can meet me on my website or windragonheart.com. So yeah, there is booking facilities by Calendly where they can contact with me. They can email me as well. The link is on the website. It's your usual social media connection stuff, you know.
Okay. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll make sure all of that is in the show notes. So, well, thank you everyone for tuning into Conscious Connections today. May today's conversation remind you that stepping into your power often begins with releasing fear and allowing divine light and love to move through you, guiding you into greater freedom and embodied truth. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the channel, leave a comment and tell us how this resonates with your soul. And also share this episode with someone that you love so much, so much. This is where fear ends and freedom begins, right here at the Fear to Freedom Project. I love you. Until the next time, peace and love. Thank you, my brother Vin. Thank you so much. You are welcome back here anytime. Peace.
Thank you.